Recently, I spoke with a congressional staffer about the economy. And I said, the creative arts are critical to economic recovery. Evidence shows that the creative arts encourage and foster growth and community economic development. We need to support the arts. The staffer sympathetically looked at me, smiled, and said, you know, art spending is discretionary. That conventional wisdom, those words of conventional wisdom, are popular in political circles because they're expedient justifications for the reduction and elimination of government funding for the arts. We need a reality check. The Creative DC Action Agenda, done in 2010, revealed that the arts have a significant role to play in our local economy. DC area is the 4th largest creative center in the United States. 10% of all of the jobs in the district alone are directly creative positions. It does not count the indirect jobs. $5 billion are spent in wages, and 7,000 small businesses are direct creative enterprises. So I wonder, can it be that 10% of our economy is discretionary? We have to make a decision. If we cannot commit to spending and supporting the arts, we have to build a better system. How do we do that? We need to shift the paradigm. We need to think about shifting our thinking from money, giving money to the arts, to one in which we invest in the arts. And there's a little bit of a trick here because it's not about the principal goal being a financial return. Our return on investment needs to be impact on our communities. We need to think about this in a two-step process. We need to think about what creatives need to succeed. Quite frankly, this is rather simple because creative businesses need the same thing that businesses in any other sector or industry require. The key is figuring out how we provide those needs and meet those needs in a way that will create greater impact for our communities. The second step is developing a strategy for a supportive infrastructure. What do we need to make this happen? The Washington Area Lawyers for the Arts is releasing a white paper next month, and I worked on that with a team of people from George Washington Law School. And what we discovered was there are lots of places that have already found solutions to this issue. There is no need to recreate the wheel on this. We have places to look both in the United States and internationally. So if we have some models to go on, we then need to decide what programs and initiatives we need to create a supportive infrastructure so that we can get this accomplished. We need to also think about whether the laws we have in our jurisdiction support creative businesses. I'll give you an example. The number one problem I hear from people in our community is space. That sounds crazy because we have lots of space in the district. But people don't have the right space. They can't figure out how to get access to the space. They don't know how to connect to space, and they can't afford the space. Now, there are people who have been out there working on these issues, and we need to figure out a better way to make this happen. We need to identify what kind of space do creatives need to work. And once we've identified what that looks like, we then need to make sure that we have a supportive infrastructure so that people can get access to that space affordably and for what they need it to use the space for. I will follow by asking the simple question, does it matter? Does it matter? And what I will tell you is why it matters to me. That's me, when I was little. And I was surrounded by the arts. Now, my parents weren't artists or photographers or musicians or poets. They were not creative people, but they saw the value of the arts, and they saw the value that arts played in the community. I'm now a mom. I have 2 kids. My son came up to me the other day and he said, "Mom, I know what my destiny is." I thought, wow, okay. What's that? My destiny is to feed people's imaginations. Whew. My destiny is to feed people's imaginations. If we are going to feed people's imaginations, we need to abandon a system that pools creative arts programming from our schools, divests money from our creative businesses, and bankrupts our cultural institutions. We need to adopt a system that invests in our future and our community. Thank you.